Good morning. Good morning. Welcome everyone to today's Voice Service. Especially would like to welcome our Keiro Kai members who have joined us at our temple this morning. It truly is a pleasure to see you all here. Just a reminder before we proceed, to keep everyone safe and healthy, we would like in-person attendees to refrain from chanting, reciting, or singing during the service, and to practice Kansho offering instead of incense offering. Also, please refrain from talking during the service to make this more enjoyable for those on Zoom. Thank you. Today, we commemorate Siddhartha Gautama's awakening. After becoming a Buddha, he spread the Dharma for 45 years and thus opened a path to liberation for all beings. Thanks to his teachings and a combination of causes and conditions, we find ourselves together today, virtually and in person. Now, we will begin with the reading of the Shotsuki Hoyo list by Reverend Laverne Imori.
On the first Sunday service of each month, we read the names of those family members and temple members that were deceased in the month of December. Kitsu Ito family. Nihei Furusho, Chieko Saito. Tadasu Oya family. Yutaka Amano family. Masaki Yoshida, Sakamoto family. Wakako Tsuneyoshi, Dwayne Koba. Sone Takada, Ichiji Takada. Daniel Amano, Mike Amano. Yasu Akiyama family. Kyoko Hosaka, Jun Hosaka. Hiroshi Oyama family. Isamu Miyama, friends. Tatsuhata, Hamada family. Ichijiro Masuyuki, Troy Matsumoto. Kenji Nishigaki, friends. Takeo Tachiki family. Natsui Tanaka family. Takeshi Okuma family. Shigeto Amano family. Zentaro Arayumi. Shizuka Azuma. Aya Tokimura, Furuya family. Matsue Tsuji family. Mitose Okuma family. George Hamada family. Ito Kawamoto family. David H. Uda, Georgiana Uda. Masaru Higuchi, Yasuko Higuchi. Ikoichi Okimoto, Tom Okimoto. Shigeo Amano, Nikie Honda. Fred Yonekura family. Naomi Campbell family. Take Torimaru family. Yoshimi Ueji. Chieko Takeguchi. Asao Momita, Gary Momita. Kakuaki Kaneko family. Unichi Tsukamoto, Wayne Tsukamoto. Keisuke Okuma, Yoshie Okuma. Ben Honda, Nikie Honda. Taiji Santo Higashi, Shunichi Santo Higashi. Tsuruyo Kawamoto, Matsui family. Yoshiko Kashima family. Nobue Nishii, Toyo Nishii. Nobuo Nadahara, Nakagawa family. Isamu Sugimoto, Joe Sugimoto. Koharu Keiji Shiraishi family. Kaoru Saito Bennett, Ford Bennett. Mary Sanae Yamaguchi, Donna McDonald. Masao Kishi, Elena Barrett. Eiji Oya, Yumiko Oya. Kasuke Ogata, Toshiko Ogata. Irene Koga, Florence Koga. Manae Mayumi, Katsuhiro Morishita. Shizue Yamamoto family. Isamu Nakamura, Sherry Nakamura. Caitlin Sky Urbanmi, Stephanie Yamamoto. Mitsuko Tosh Ogier, Robin Ogier. Walter Julian Valerie, Akiko Valerie. Ken Ichi Hitomi, Chiharu Hitomi. Nobuko Uchino, Gary Uchino. Kuriko Darini, Bruna Mori. Yoko Ajishi Garcia, Joseph A. Garcia. George Kitagawa, Gary Kitagawa. Ron L. Okuma, Okuma family. Kathy Yamada Olson, Scott Olson. Pauline Masako Nakamura, Sherry Nakamura. Yukiko Negoro, Glenn Negoro. Roy Mitchell, Mitchell family. Sakiko Kada, Naomi Himata. Pat Hayamoto, Takeshita family. Chieko Yagi, Christine Driscoll. Arikazu Ogasawara, Michiko Ogasawara. Please join me in Gasho as we remember those deceased in the month of December. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
At this time, Smitty Sensei will be sharing the Hyobyakumon, intention of service, followed by chanting of Sambujo and Juseige.
We gather today, embraced by the wisdom and compassion that is Amida Buddha, to celebrate Bodhi Day, or the enlightenment of the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni. Siddhartha Gautama was a prince who abandoned the riches, powers, and prestige of his royal life to seek liberation not only for himself, but for all humankind. After 6 arduous years of searching, Siddhartha was awakened to the ultimate truth and was thereafter known as Shakyamuni Buddha, or the sage of the Shakya clan. The Buddha taught the path of awakening to all, and it is through his teachings that we have come to know Amida Buddha and are assured of our own enlightenment. In gratitude, we place our palms together in Gasho and recite Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Sambujo, or 3 respectful callings. Ujo For today's Gatha, we will chant Juseige. Dagon Chosegan Hishimujodo Shigan Fumanzo Sefujo Shoga Gao Muryoko Tui Dai Seshu Fusai Shobingu Sefujo Shoga Gashi Jobundo Myosho Chojipo Kukyo Mishomon Sefujo Shoga Ryokujin Shonen Joeshu Bongyo Shigumu-jodo, Isho Tenin-shi, Jinriki Endai-ko, Fusho-musai-do, Shoujo-sankumyo, Kosai-shuyakunan, Kaiichi Egen, Meshikon-mo-an, Hesokusho-akudo, Tsudan-zen-shumon, Kosojo-manzo, Ioro-jipo, Nichigan Shujuki, Tenko Onfugen, Ishukai Hozo, Koseku Dokuho, Joodai Shuchu, Seppo Shishiku, Kuyo Isai Bu, Lusoku Shutoku Hon, Gan E Shinjo Man, Toku Isangai O, Yobun Mugechi, Sudan Mihusho, Yangaku Eri, Toshi Sai Shoson, Shiganya Koka, Daisen Okando, Koku Shotenin, Touchimyoke. Namandabu, 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 Yani Shikudoku, Yodo Seisai, Tohono Daishi, Ojo, Anwako. So, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Now we will have the recitation of the three treasures. Those on Zoom can follow along with the words on your screen. Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves our supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of nirix and kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Please join me in Vasho. Namo Buddhas, Namo Buddhas, Namo Buddhas, Namo Buddhas. At this time, we will have a Dharma School message given by Sharon Sasaki.
Good morning, everyone. All hear me okay, including at home? So I'm really excited to be giving this Dharma School talk here in the temple, as well as sharing this with Zoom. It's a great occasion. And the title of my talk is Happy Bodhi Day and Merry Christmas. So what is Bodhi Day? How do Buddhists celebrate Bodhi Day? What is Christmas? And do Buddhists celebrate Christmas? What is Bodhi Day? Bodhi Day is what we're celebrating today. We're commemorating the day that Siddhartha Gautama experienced enlightenment and became Shakyamuni Buddha. Siddhartha was a prince who left his palace and family because he wanted to understand why people suffer and how to be free from suffering. First, he became an ascetic, which means that he studied and meditated while enduring physical pain, and he practically starved himself. One day, a young girl, Sujata, saw that he was almost dying and offered him a bowl of rice. Siddhartha accepted it and realized that rejecting food and depriving his body was not the path to inner liberation. So he ate the rice, drank water, and bathed in the river. From then on, Siddhartha encouraged people to follow the path of balance, called the middle way. Siddhartha, determined, sat under the Bodhi tree and attained deep concentration. He was able to banish Mara, an evil demon which represents human wants and desires, and he finally saw the answer to the questions of suffering that he's been seeking for so many years. On December 8th, approximately 2,549 years ago, at age 35, in that moment of pure enlightenment, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, he who is awake. Looking at life with this enlightened mind, Shakyamuni Buddha now overflowed with inner strength and confidence. Buddha's enlightenment and the Dharma, his teachings, have been passed down through numerous unbroken lineages of teachers and spread to many countries, first within Asia and now to the United States and throughout the world. So the next question, how do Buddhists celebrate Bodhi Day? Of course, here at the Buddhist Temple of San Diego, we're doing so right now with a special service. Around the world, celebrants traditionally light candles or string lights around altars and temples, signifying enlightenment, for 30 days following Bodhi Day. Many Buddhists also decorated trees with colored lights to commemorate the Buddha's enlightenment experience under a tree. Eating rice and milk is also traditional at this time, as this is said to be the sustenance the Buddha received that enabled him to make his final push to enlightenment. Personally, when I was a kid on December 8th, my father, retired Reverend Laverne Sasaki, would wake us up, my two brothers, two sisters, and me at 6 o'clock in the morning by ringing a bell. We would get up, then sit and meditate together with only a candle for lighting. Back then, I was able to sit in the lotus position. Those days are long past. And that morning, we weren't supposed to talk. We would eat breakfast in silence, and that was our Bodhi Day tradition in our household. The next question, what is Christmas? Christmas is a holiday to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, who, according to the Christian religion, is the Son of God. The name is a joining of Christ and Mass, which means the Holy Mass, which is supper, celebration, or festival of Christ. Do Buddhists celebrate Christmas? Laverne Sensei was kind enough to share some different links and readings, and so I wanted to share what I gathered from some readings. This is from Buddhist monk Bhante Sudaso. Christmas provides an opportunity to practice several aspects of the Buddhist path: generosity, consideration, kindness, and mutual regard. In particular, the act of gift giving is an enactment of compassion. Another Buddhist, Kate Johnson, said, Christmas is a time to celebrate a shared wish for a better world. At Christmas time, believers and others seem a little more willing to try to love each other, to welcome the stranger, to share what we have, and to slow down enough to appreciate our blessings. This is a kind of magic, an ordinary miracle that is absolutely worth celebrating. I like this social media post from the Orange County Buddhist Church last year. Do Buddhists celebrate Christmas? While we don't take part in the specifically Christian observances, many of us do put up trees, exchange gifts, and participate in other non-religious aspects of Christmas. The spirit of sharing, giving, and appreciation is valued in Buddhism, so we may choose to participate in holiday celebrations as a way of promoting goodwill, giving to others, and spending time with family and friends. And I see the Omyo Go on top of their Christmas, their Bodhi chart, which is really cool. Sean Rossville, a Buddhist blogger, wrote, in general, Buddhists are quite happy with Christmas and have no hang-ups about Christmas celebrations. In the Simpsons episode, She of Little Faith, where Lisa converts to Buddhism, Reverend Lovejoy tries to dissuade her by saying she can't celebrate Christmas because Santa doesn't leave presents under the Bodhi tree. Then, after Richard Gere explains that Buddhists believe that those religions that are founded on love and compassion are valid spiritual paths. Personally, I am Buddhist, but my family and I enjoy a lot of Christmas traditions. The Charlie Brown Christmas special, the Grinch, jungle bells at the zoo, Christmas songs, cookies, neighborhood lights and decorations. And we have this tree, which I now like to call a Bodhi tree. According to Reverend Don Castro, our Bodhi tree's lights represent the starry sky. The large star placed at the top represents the Buddha's enlightenment at the moment he saw the morning star. The ornaments represent the great diversity of beings, all having Buddha nature. The presents under the tree represent the truth of impermanence, and the greatest gift of all is the gift of the Dharma. So we should also have a statue of the Buddha under the Bodhi tree. So the answer is yes. We as Buddhists are open to other traditions, and we can celebrate Christmas, as well as Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and other world holidays with full hearts. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you for your message about Bodhi Day and Christmas, Sharon. It was very interesting. Now, Reverend Honda will lead us in recitation of our pledge.
Thank you, Mr. Rubio. For those of you that are into Hondo, you can follow along on the screen. And for those of you that are on Zoom, you can recite and follow along with me. So our pledge: breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Gassho, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Naman Nabs, Naman Nabs, Naman Nabs, Naman Nabs.
Now we will have in life forms, all life forms acknowledgement by Smitty Sensei.
Good morning again. Today we'd like to acknowledge the impermanence of all beings and the influence of all lives upon our own lives. We are not separate, we are not isolated, we are instead fully connected with all. It is through this understanding of impermanence and interdependence that we recognize how truly special each and every life is. While the Dharma School students held a tribute to pets on November 7th of this year, today we gather as a Sangha and acknowledge the sentient beings who have touched our lives and have often touched our hearts. I would like to read the names that have been submitted for this All Life Forms Memorial. Biju, Galilea, Mango, Bubbles, Donut, Lucky, Rocket, Scooby, April, Penny, Beauty, Monty, Daniel, Twitter, Mickey, Black Beauty, Snowflake, Cinnamon, Puck, Muffin, Fritz, Bo, Champ, Rusty, Mindy, Pippin, Yoshi, Dan Bohr, Ron Smith, Kinoshita, Reverend Mori Watanabe, Mrs. Sayoki Tomoyama, Steve Tomoyama, and Gladys Imori. We acknowledge these beings who have left the Saha world and have crossed over to the other shore. We also acknowledge the lives of the countless and often unnamed others who have touched, enriched, or sustained our lives, whether they were humans, mammals, fish, birds, reptiles, amphibians, insects, microbes, fungus, trees, plants, flowers, or even weeds. May we always be mindful of how precious life is how interconnected and impermanent life is, and how much we depend on these lives in order to live our lives. In deep and heartfelt gratitude, please join me in Kansho as we say, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Thank you, Sensei. Now, a few words of appreciation by Michael Kinoshita.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see some of you in person and all the people online. Again, to the many people watching, again, online and in person, on behalf of the Buddhist Temple, I would like to thank the many people who made this service possible today. As you know, this is the first Sunday service that in almost 2 years that we have a small group of people in attendance. So I'd like to thank the following. There's a long list I'd like to go through this, but many people spent many hours in putting together this presentation. Reverend Smitty for leading today's service, and Reverend Imori and Reverend Noriko Kawai for assisting. Reverend Laverne for reading the Shotsuki list. Sharon Sasaki for giving the Dharma School message. Reverend Honda for leading the Dharma School pledge. Reverend Noriko Kawai for the upcoming Dharma message in Japanese. Reverend Gregory Gibbs for the upcoming video message. And Arturo Rubio for chairing the service. Along with the people that we mentioned above, there have been many people behind the scenes that have made this service possible. So the Buddhist Temple Center would like to thank Bill T, Minister Bill T and Kate Samia, Kimberly Cruz, and Bill T for coordinating the Zoom presentation, Tim Kajita and Glenn Goro for setting up the camera work for this presentation service today, Yukari Williams, Naomi Himaka for the floral presentation for the Hondo. Also, the Dharma School for the ongoing efforts and presentation of an online school during the last couple of years, and Ralph Honda for coordinating the overall service. Last but not least, I'd like to thank all of you who are attending via online and in person for your continued support to our temple during these past 2 years. Again, I apologize if I neglected to mention everybody that helped on this, but again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak on behalf of the temple.
Thank you, Michael. Now we will have some announcements. I will begin by announcing that our temple's Dana group officially closed the winter clothing donation drive yesterday, December 4th. I would like to thank all the temple members and Dharma friends who generously supported this worthy cause. Thanks to their generosity, we made a large delivery of warm clothing to Streets of Hope, and we will be delivering more donations to them in the next few days. Are there any other announcements? At this time, we will be excusing Dharma School students to their classes and activities on Zoom.
Those at home are welcome to chant along with me with the words on your screen. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kye Butsu. Namo Kye Ho. Namo Kye So. Kansho, Amodes, Nanda, Nanda, Nanda. Well, this Bodhi Day, we welcome Reverend Gregory Gibbs, albeit virtually, as our guest speaker. Reverend Gibbs began his career in Fresno, California area, doing clerical and supervisory work in medical facilities and laboratories. Thanks to his interest in Buddhist teachings, Reverend Gibbs redirected his efforts toward the study of Buddhism at IBS and GTU in Berkeley. After his ordination as a Shin Buddhist minister, Gibbs Sensei has served BCA as an assistant minister at the Los Angeles Hompa Honganji, or Nishibetsui, as resident minister of the Oregon Buddhist Temple, and as resident minister where he is currently at the Pasadena Buddhist Temple. In addition to leading the temple in Pasadena, Reverend Gibbs has served as the supervising minister for the Arizona Buddhist Temple, and he now supervises the Buddhist Temple of San Diego as well. I've been privileged to know Gibbs Sensei for many years now, and while he is a scholarly thinker, in fact, he's authored a book titled Becoming Buddhist, Liberating All Beings. He is very adept at sharing the Dharma at a personal and meaningful level. So here with his Bodhi Day Dharma talk is our supervising minister, Reverend Gregory Gibbs.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for this service. Do wear your masks outside. We are down here at the Pasadena Buddhist Temple to our skeleton crew. Alan Goto and I are producing this talk, and Alan's about 45 feet away from me, so I will forego the mask for clarity of pronunciation. We are preparing this talk for the San Diego Buddhist Temple for your Bodhi Day Service in December, first Sunday in December. I've had much help in preparing this service, and I want to thank all the people. I can't thank everyone. I can't thank everyone who has kept the San Diego Temple alive and going. But let me mention just a few people who've helped keep you going and helped me to do this talk, produce this talk for your service. And that would, of course, be Bill Teague and Luann Lee. Also, of course, Reverend Kenji Akahoshi, Laverne Imori, Noriko Kawai, Maribeth Smith, and Arturo Rubio. Many others have helped me, but I mentioned them. And, of course, Alan Goto here today and Kathy Kumagai, who will manipulate the tapes for us so that they all come together properly. For some time, the San Diego Buddhist Temple Dharma messages have seemed to focus on living a life of gratitude. Now, this being my first Dharma message for as the supervising minister for the San Diego Buddhist Temple, I want to focus on what it is we're grateful for. You know about being grateful. Every now and then, let me try to remind you what it is as Buddhists that we are grateful for. Why should we be thankful? So that'll be more my orientation the next few weeks. And today, specifically today, being your Bodhi Day service for the San Diego Buddhist Temple, I will cover many details of the historical Buddha Shakyamuni's biography and his experience of awakening to Bodhi. It was at the age of 29 that Shakyamuni, the Buddha-to-be, renounced the riches and comforts of the life of a regent-elect, the regent-elect of Magadha, and he went to become a renunciate in the forest. His given name was Siddhartha, which means every wish fulfilled. He was of the Gautama family and of the Shakya clan. You will sometimes hear not very well educated monks call him Gautama Buddha. That's not proper. He's referred to as the Buddha or Shakyamuni Buddha, and if we refer to him prior to his awakening, we refer to him as Shakyamuni, the sage of the Shakya clan. Shakyamuni was from Magadha again, which was a small principality in northern India, considered a part of India at the time, although it is now part of Nepal. Shakyamuni being quite wealthy, he ate the best foods, he married the prettiest and nicest young women, he was fortunate enough to have the smartest and best looking sons. I know how all that is. And then he snuck off at night to become a spiritual seeker. He chose poverty and spiritual search over all this fulfillment. His father, King Suddhodana, would have prevented this had he been able, had he known. So why leave when you have everything? Well, before he left, after 29 years of living a very sheltered life, the Shakyamuni decided to have a look around, and his attendant took him through the four gates, as we say, to the four encounters. He first encountered inevitable aging when he walked outside the gates of the palace grounds and encountered a man with osteoporosis, a man bent over due to having given up too much calcium, one of the common effects for many of us of aging. The Buddha was struck by this sight. Next, the second gate was the gate of illness. He saw a man coughing and sneezing, feverish, sweating. What's wrong with this guy? He's sick. We all get sick sometimes, his attendant told him. He then, as I understand to this day you will, walking about India, just came upon a corpse laying there, a deceased person. And his attendant explained to him that this comes to all humans just as you knew it came to all animals. The fourth gate, the last thing he saw was a sannyasin, a forest dweller, a spiritual seeker. And he saw that life of spiritual search led to some kind of peace. This man had a calmness, a peace, a kindness about him, and a wisdom. The spiritual renunciate sensitized Shakyamuni to the scent of liberation. Now, this is the traditional explanation. This is all quite correct. But we should recognize that this fourth encounter was the essential thing, encountering a spiritual seeker, seeing that some kind of spiritual resolution is what we all need, that at a spiritual level we can resolve our suffering and our lostness. At a spiritual level we can distance ourselves from greed, anger, stupidity, and excessive fear. The Buddha was, as the Majjhima Nikaya tells us, searching for an existence that was wide open. Shakyamuni was seeking an existence which is wide open, into the great wide open. He was seeking something so important that all our other concerns might seem trivial in comparison. After 6 years of studying with more than 100 yogins and philosophy teachers he encountered in the forest, after 6 years of meditation and asceticism, Shakyamuni had come very close to his goal of a way of living that is wide open, his goal of seeing something so precious that nothing else much mattered. And then, we have the exact times of day in the sutras, at 4 p.m., he's thirsty and he begins to walk down to the stream to get a drink of water, and he stumbles because he is so weak from not eating enough for so long. And a young lady named Sujata sees this, and she brings him at 4 p.m. a bowl of rice gruel, Uncle Ben's maybe. And this rice gruel gave him the strength to resume his meditation. 4 p.m. The next thing that happened, this is December 8th, 5:35 before the Common Era. I don't know what day of the week it was. It's supposed to have been December 8th, though. At midnight, he had a wavering of conviction. We say being tempted by the spirit of delusion, being tempted by mala, but it was a wavering of conviction at midnight. And he resumed his conviction, and that's where we have the earth witnessing posture. The Buddha reached down to touch the earth, and the earth acknowledged him in his own mind's eye, saying, Shakyamuni has been of great help to others in previous lives, and he will be of considerable assistance to humans in this life. He is welcome to sit here. That's all the earth had to say to him, was she's welcome to sit here. The earth witnessing posture when he resumed his conviction to resume his meditation, his study. And at daybreak, at the moment that the Buddha gazed at the morning star, and I always point this out to you, we have this image of Dharma sitting, that meditation is this one-pointedness, but the Buddha was sitting under a tree thinking about stuff. And he looked up and he saw the morning star, and bam, that was it. Not because it's the morning star, not because it's the planet Venus. Did he know it was the planet Venus? I doubt it. It just happened to be. It could have been the stone running against the graveside. It could have been anything. That moment of looking up at the morning star, he awoke to the deep truth of all things, which is that one thing flows into another and cannot be separated. He attained enlightenment, the Buddha did. Attaining enlightenment is also called realizing Bodhi, the highest wisdom. It is also called nirvana, great awakening, satori, realization with a capital R, becoming a Buddha, Jobutsu in Japanese, in Sino-Japanese, the full flowering of Buddha nature. These are all different ways of saying what happened to the Buddha on Bodhi Day. To enter into the Dharma Dhatu, the realm of the Dharma. To attain liberation, moksha. This is what he did. These are all various names for the same goal, the goal of spiritual search. And these names, like moksha, the term liberation, moksha, used by Buddhists, Jains, and Hindus to describe our ultimate goal. We might ask what he realized, but the important thing to understand is that we don't really know. I don't know. We can only guess and approximate. He discerned the deep oneness of life. It's our standard approximation. For Buddhists, the oneness of life means that one thing flows into another and cannot be grasped as separate. All things interpenetrate one another. This was his finding a way of living which is wide open. The Buddha went on to point out different paths to enlightenment, various paths, various ways of securing lasting happiness. Shakyamuni's teaching and his students' teachings all lead to greater illumination in this life and in the next and beyond this life. There are 84,000 paths to great awakening. But not just any path. Not every perspective will lead you there. Becoming a Buddhist involves a profound conversion, esshin, a turning around of the heart and mind. This is what I'm calling today having a foretaste of the flavor of freedom, a foretaste of liberation. And whereas converting to traditional Christianity or Islam often focuses on adopting new beliefs, conversion to being a Buddhist is more letting go of old beliefs, giving up most old beliefs, questioning all of our beliefs, and nurturing this taste of freedom that the Dharma is giving us. There are at least 84,000 paths to awakening, but there are millions of paths that don't get you there. There are millions of paths that will not lead to enlightenment. Clinging to the idea that there will not be a new life after this one might prevent you from walking the Buddhist path. Clinging to the notion that you are a soul, an inner spiritual essence somehow stuck in a body, will prevent you from walking the Buddhist path effectively. It will prevent you from having a foretaste of awakening. A foretaste of awakening. Something we can all have. If there are some aspects of our teaching that you don't understand, let it be. Me too. Accept the fact that you don't know exactly, and I don't know exactly what the Buddha realized on Bodhi Day. I don't know exactly what enlightenment is. Live comfortably with the fact that you don't fully know what Buddhism is yet, but you are starting to understand what a Buddhist feels, what it feels like to be Buddhist, what this foretaste of enlightenment tastes like. It tastes like freedom. It feels like openness, warmth, caring. Warmth, caring, freedom, openness. This is what we feel on the Buddhist path. Whatever the exact realization was, which Shakyamuni Buddha came to on Bodhi Day about 2,350 years ago, it led him to a life of penetrating wisdom and tireless compassion. Of the many teachings which have emerged from Shakyamuni Buddha's spiritual lineage, about 200 schools of Buddhism survive. There have been probably 3 times that many which have morphed into, been drawn into the schools that still survive. I have strong confidence in the capacity of any of those schools of Buddhism to lead you to a better life here and now, and to a better life the next time out, after your inevitable, eventual biological death. The reality that we encounter in our practice of the Buddha Dharma is true and real. Makoto aru koto. True and real. True and genuine. Despite the flaws in our ideas, and our ideas are flawed, despite the imperfections of our imaginings and visualizations, the reality that we awaken to is real and genuine. Nembutsu no mizo makoto nite owashimasu. And this is something to be grateful for, a reason to be grateful. Shinran describes the Nembutsu as functioning like a touchstone. This is real and true, good and genuine. If I compare it to this, how does it compare? Is this the same, less, more? Namo Amida Butsu, Nembutsu no Mizo, encountering the truth in the Nembutsu allows us to have a touchstone for what is real and important in our lives. It brings with it the ability to savor the scent of enlightenment, to savor the scent of the flowering of enlightenment, and to let go of our more trivial concerns. Reality accepts us just as we are, but we undergo an education of our moral palates. We start to realize what's valuable and what is not. So, to the Pasadena Buddhist Temple members who've helped me produce this talk and who have nurtured me and kept my family alive these last 7 years, thank you. To the San Diego Buddhist Temple members who are participating in this service, thank you very much. To those who tuned in accidentally, welcome. Thanks for checking us out. Join us anytime you wish. In cyberspace currently, we'll open up as soon as we can, as soon as it's safe. Some of you may attend other temples besides Buddhist temples, and you're welcome here as well. People come to our temples for a variety of needs, including spiritual needs, social needs, and aspirations that are aesthetic. You're always welcome at the San Diego Buddhist Temple. Again, currently in cyber fashion, soon open to the public, the vaccinated public. If you're in Pasadena, we are open to Pasadena to the vaccinated public. Check our website for our activities. The core teaching, despite all these teachings that the Buddha opened out for us, the core teaching that we focus on is the Nembutsu, true language, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, I rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. This is the core of our community. Our community aspires for Buddhahood in the next life, composure, and caring in this life. Those of us who are traveling the Nembutsu path find that it gives us a chance to decrease greed, anger, stupidity, and fear a bit, to increase wisdom, kindness, and compassion. Living in the light of the Buddha's vow and saying the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, gives us a chance to live well, more fully, more happily, more productively. This truly is something to be grateful for, a reason to be grateful. In the long run, all we are saying is give the Nembutsu a chance. And we are saying that, give the Nembutsu a chance. In closing the Dharma message portion of your service, I will be saying the Nembutsu aloud a few times. Those who wish to, please join. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, 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 Namanda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sensei, for your Dharma message about Bodhi Day, gratitude, and being on the Buddhist path. Now, please join me in silent meditation. Light must come from the inside. You cannot ask the darkness to leave. You must turn on the light. Sogyal Rinpoche. Namo Amidavas, Namo Amidavas, Namo Amidavas, Namo Amidavas, Namo Amidavas, Namo Amidavas. Now we will chant the Gatha Ondokusan. Those on Zoom can follow along with the words on your screen. Please join me in Kansho. Namo Amidavas, Namo Amidavas, Namo Amidavas, Namo Amidavas, Namo Amidavas. We have now reached the end of our service. I'd like to thank everyone who joined us here at the temple and on Zoom. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Those on Zoom can move to breakout rooms so they can chat and catch up with friends. Now, Noriko Sensei will be giving a Dharma message in Japanese. If you wish to listen to Noriko Sensei's Dharma message in Japanese, please stay in the main room in Zoom. Thank you.
合唱をお願いいたします。如来大悲の音読は、身を粉にしても法ずべし。知識の音読は、骨を砕きてもしゃすべし。ナモ阿弥陀仏、ナモ阿弥陀仏、ナモ阿弥陀仏。皆さんおはようございます。こうして皆さんにお会いするのはもう2年近くぶりになると思います。まだまだ注意が必要ではありますが、集まってお勤めができることを大変嬉しく思います。今日はもう12月の最初の日曜日となります。毎年月日が流れるのが早いと感じますが、去年、今年は特に早かったように思います。11月、12月は世界のいろんな宗教のお祝いがあります。11月にはヒンズー教、シーク教、ジェイン教のディワリというお祝いがあり、ユダヤ教のハナカも11月末から始まります。12月はもちろんクリスマスもありますし、 テイガンやビカンの方々のお祝いもありますし、クワンザというアフリカ系アメリカ人の方々のお祝いもあります。25から30ぐらいの、ホリデーがあるというふうに聞いています。私たちも今日お祝いをしましたが、仏教徒にとっても12月には大切な日があります。ボディデー、日本語では浄土へと言います。これで浄土へ。お釈迦様がお悟りをお開きになった日で、道をなされたので浄土へと呼びます。私たちは今日もしましたが、お経を読みますね。お経というのは、お釈迦様がお悟りをお開きになった後にお話になったことの記録だと言われています。それは何百、何千、何万という数がありますが、そのお経の中に阿弥陀様のことも書かれているわけですね。お釈迦様がいらっしゃらなかったら、またお悟りをお開きにならなかったら、私たちは阿弥陀様のことを知ることもできなかったし、人生においていろいろ経験する苦しみや悲しみにどう対処すればいいのかを学ぶヒントもいただけなかったでしょう。また、お釈迦様が亡くなられた後、今日お経となっている書物を残してくださったお釈迦様のお弟子さんたち、はるかインドまで行ってお経を持って帰り、翻訳してくださったお坊さんたち、それをまた日本に持ってきて、仏教を伝えた方々、そういう人たちの並々ならない情熱や努力があって、私たちは今日こうやって集まってお祝いすることができるんです。最初にお読みしたのは、皆さんよくご存知の音読さんですが、この歌ではそういった私たちの先にいらっしゃった先生方を称えるものです。現代語に訳しますと、阿弥陀如来よりいただいた大悲のご恩は身を粉にする思いで応じましょう。釈尊をはじめとして教法をお務めくださった良き戦士の人々のご恩も骨を砕く思いで応じましょうという意味になります。よく英語に訳したときに骨を砕くという表現を crush our bones とかになんだか怖いように聞こえますが、日本語で骨を砕くというのは苦労するとか努力するという意味があり、よくお骨をいただきありがとうございますと言ったりしますが、誰かに大変な苦労をして助けてもらったりしたときに言います。ですので、阿弥陀如来、そして私たちの先生方に対して、私たちも大変な努力をしてご恩を返さなければいけませんという意味になります。私自身、今までの人生でいろいろな先生方にお会いしました。特に覚えているのは、高校の時の担任だった玉井先生です。玉井先生は英語を教えていらしたのですが、普通に教科書から学ぶだけでなく、生徒同士小さなグループを作って短いスキットを英語で作り、それを録音して発表したり、クイーンやビートルズなどの歌を聴いて、その歌詞を書き取るというような宿題をいただきました。玉井先生の授業がとても面白かったので、私は英語が得意になりました。そして大学では英語を専攻し、今私がアメリカに住んでいるのは玉井先生のおかげかもしれません。また、 た仕事についてからは上司や先輩に恵まれ、仕事の仕方だけでなく、人生の先輩としていろいろなことを教えていただきました。サンディエゴ仏教会では、向島先生、賢治先生、青山先生にもとてもお世話になり、お寺の関係でオレンジカウンティのワンドラ睦美先生、以前は LA 別院にいらっしゃった中田先生、先進の古本先生など、他にもたくさん、本当にいろいろな先生にお会いし、お世話になっています。本当に返しきれないご恩をいただいています。青山先生もそのお一人で、毎月第1日曜日は小月法要が行われていますが、以前は青山先生が日本語でお話ししてくださいました。青山先生はいつも小月法要などの仏教の法要というのは、亡くなった人をご縁として仏法に出会わせていただくご縁を喜ぶものだとおっしゃっていました。それが法要の第一の目的です。でも、同時に私たちは亡くなった方々のことを思わずにはいられません。100年もそれ以上も前に日本からアメリカに渡ってこられて、多くの苦労をしながら働いた日系の方々、そして今日こんなに立派になったお寺の元となるものを作られた方々、その苦労は本当に想像を超えるものだと思います。私のような新しい一世、もうそんなに新しくもないですけど、来ても20何年になりますが、そのような私たちがそれほど苦労せずにアメリカで生きていくことができるのは、皆さんのような日系アメリカ人、先にいらした日本人の方々が道を作ってくださったからだと本当に感謝しています。私は毎日本当に良い先生方に囲まれて生活しています。皆さんもそういった先生方や、家族の方々、お友達いらっしゃるんじゃないでしょうか。先生というのは学校の先生やお寺の先生だけではありません。いろんなことを教えてくださる人たち、すべては先生と言えるのではないでしょうか。菩薩様というのは仏様になる一歩手前の存在で、みんなを助けるまで仏にならないと言います。私たちの周りでたくさんのことを教えてくださる方々は菩薩様と言えるかもしれません。手を合わせてお念仏を申すとき、皆さんが今まで出会われた先生を思い出してください。その先生方から受けたご恩は大きくて、とても返すことができないかもしれません。でも、身を粉にして、骨を砕いて、働き、努力して、その教えを次の世代に伝えていくことで、少しはご恩を返すことができるのではないでしょうか。それでは、合唱お念仏をして、お話を終わります。如来大悲の音読は、身を粉にしても法ずべし。死守、四式の音読は、骨を砕きても射すべし。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。ありがとうございました。
That will conclude our Bodhi Day service. We thank everybody who has attended, whether it was those who were able to attend in person in a limited capacity and those who have attended on Zoom.